You have some reservations about him playing this soon, and just right before that, we heard Tua even saying how he doesn't remember anything from the night of the big hit.
Absolutely. When you've been in this game and you've played and you've been around other teammates that have had concussion issues, I played with Wayne Corbett, a guy famously known to have concussion issues. And you look up and it happens once, you feel, okay, give him a little time. It happens a second time, say, give him a little more time. This has been, what, about 3 weeks or so since the two incidents has happened? And I'm not a doctor, nor do I claim to be a doctor. And I can't think of people's mental state. But I certainly know that I've been around enough people to have concussions that this, to me, is too soon. And I understand the Dolphins want to be in the mix and they want the offense to go flying high. All it takes is a little simple thump here or thump there. We know this. So when I look at it, I'm like, why are they really trying to put him on the field right now, even though he was medically cleared? Medically cleared.
Hey, Keyshawn, point of order, please. What other kind of clearance is there? Tua Tagovailoa has been examined by a pool of neurological experts from across the country. Real professional neurological experts. And they just weren't team doctors. These were multiple world-renowned brain experts who unanimously cleared Tua and concluded two things. A, he didn't have a concussion in the Buffalo Bills game. I know that bothers some people, but it's true. Two, they said that he will have no long-term effects from the concussion he experienced during the Cincinnati Bengals game. So Keyshawn, please do tell us all, the rest of you in the media, what other clearance are you looking for? Wait, what's that I'm hearing? Hypocrisy raising its ugly head? We've got some breaking news I got to cut to.
Breaking news from the NFL into the Fanfare newsfeed.
Keyshawn Johnson and the media have cleared Kenny Pickett to play against the Miami Dolphins.
It's my understanding that his work won't be limited in any way in preparation, and so we'll adhere to the protocol and we'll follow that and let that be our guide in terms of participation. I'll say this: if he's cleared to play, he'll play. He'll play quarterback for us. In the meanwhile, man, we're ready ourselves. He'll be a full participant, is my understanding, tomorrow. And so we'll have him and Mitch working at the quarterback position.
You just heard it, folks. Didn't make it up. Kenny Pickett, who received a concussion on Sunday in his game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is back at full practice with no limitations and will play this Sunday against the Miami Dolphins. Somebody make it make sense. Can we get Keyshawn? Keyshawn. Can we get Keyshawn on the line? No, I'm sorry. Keyshawn is not available for further comment. Out of here. Glad to see that the media has resumed its Tua Tagovailoa hate fest. They've had a brief respite these last 3 weeks while Tua was out, but they're back. I knew they would be. So last night I did an impromptu live broadcast where we talked about what it would take for Tua Tagovailoa to stay on the field the rest of the year. Check it out. One of the problems I see with Tua a lot is he keeps trying to extend the play, he keeps trying to make the play. I mean, that's what won the national championship when he was at Alabama. But in the NFL, the top level quarterbacks, and I've said this in a number of videos, they get rid of the ball. And you saw it with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. Hey, it's not open. I'm just going to toss it to the sidelines. Tua keeps trying to extend the game. He needs to learn to get rid of the ball. So I want you to listen to what Mike McDaniel had to say yesterday.
Back into the game, do you want him to be more cautious about how he protects himself? Do you not want him thinking about that? Or what's the line there when he goes back?
There's risks in this game, and you got to be able to control the controllables. One thing for him is you love his competitive nature, okay? But there is a time in a play where you have to kind of concede, and that's where he's kind of been focusing on, because it's something that's not natural to him. He wants to break every tackle, and he doesn't like when plays don't work. Well, sometimes they won't. So that's something that he's mindful of, and I think that's a consistency of all the really great quarterbacks that you think of, the guys that you look up to, the guys that kind of set forth the example of how to play the position, they do find ways to be available, and part of that is that concession. But that is all things considered, that's probably, it's a good problem to have in terms of a competitor. You just need to be able to understand your importance to the team and how sometimes the best play you can make is a throwaway.
The best play you could make is a throwaway. Sometimes killing the play is the best play that you can make. Tua needs to understand that. You're in the NFL. You're the QB1. As Mike McDaniel just said, your number one attribute, number one, bar none, is availability. If you're not available to play, your value diminishes, as we've seen, tremendously, and the team suffers. So it's going to be really hard for Tua to all of a sudden just become a player that just can throw the ball away. But at this point, he has to be able to look at a play, see what's going on, make his progressions, and if it's not there, throw it to the girl in the stands. Just do what you got to do. Out, it's gone. It's better to be 2nd and 10 than to be second and in the locker room with a concussion. They're going to come after you. They're going to come after you. Your biggest asset to the team is your availability. I said it in a couple of videos. I'm glad. Maybe this Barry guy is catching on, because maybe Mike heard me talking about it, but you learned that a long time ago. Availability is what makes your value. You got to be on the field. You got to play. So I wonder if Tua was listening. So today, listen to what Tua said. Tell me if they haven't been talking behind the scenes.
Recently, you just kind of spoken to you about putting back, doing everything you can to protect yourself when you're on the field, and make sure you're not in a position where you're in harm's way. Just what was your takeaway from that message?
Yeah, for me, I've always been a person to try to make something happen. That's always been my mindset, if you will, and throwing the ball away hasn't been something that I've done in the past really well, because I'm trying to make plays, and so just learning from that. If it's not there, it's okay to throw it away. It's the longevity of me just being able to be the quarterback for this team, and not try to make something out of nothing. Plays will come to us, and that's kind of what our mantra for our offense is.
It's the mantra for our offense. Mantra, USA, throw the ball away. If you get in a position where you've gone and you've looked at Tyreek and you've looked at Jalen Waddle or some guys blitzing, toss it. Go look at old Joe Montana plays. Go look at a lot of what Brady does. In fact, what Brady was screaming at his offensive lineman this past weekend. Tua needs to get pissed. Tua needs to get in front of Eichenberg and some of these idiots up front. I'm sorry, I won't call them idiots. That was wrong. These offensive linemen up front, and get in their faces and say, if you guys don't friggin' start blocking, the people in the stands are going to catch most of my passes. I am not going to sit back here and try to run around because you guys can't block. You're the leader. You are the captain. It's time to get fired up and get pissed. Now, I understand that's not really his personality, but at this point, you have no choice. Your head coach has just tried to instill in something to you that you're not used to. You can tell by his demeanor. You're telling me to give up? Yeah, I'm telling you to give up. I'm telling you, if you get to a point where shit's breaking down, toss the ball. And you can tell he doesn't really like it. I mean, if you look at it, just look at his face right here. Look at that. That's not a happy guy. That's not someone who's like, yeah, I can do this. He's being told to do something that is completely foreign to him. It's not going to work the first weekend. It may not work the second weekend. They're going to have to do it in practice. And if somebody comes in, he's got the red shirt and, you can't touch him. But if someone gets close to you, get rid of the ball. He has to learn how to do that. Otherwise, he's going to be just in the locker room a lot more this season. I don't want to see that look on his face. I don't want to see that look of I don't know what to do. I don't want to see that. I want to see a guy who realizes I am so valuable to this team that I would rather have an incompletion and look like I just threw the ball away than I took a hit that could potentially take me out of the game and destroy my availability and decrease my value. If you're not on the field winning, then your availability and your value to the team diminishes as well. We could see it on Tua's face. It is going to be tough for the Samoan sniper just to give up on a play. Tua Tagovailoa is a fighter. He is a fierce competitor. And even though giving up on a play is in his best interest, it's still going to be tough for him to do. I had someone who commented yesterday who's known Tua since he was in high school. And they said his high school coach couldn't get him to give up on a play. His parents couldn't get him to give up on a play. And we saw what happened to him in college when he got hurt. Nick Saban couldn't get him to give up on a play. But if this kid wants to be a long-term NFL quarterback, that's exactly what he's going to have to do. Having spent some time in Hawaii and my wife having lived there for 11 years, I got to know the Hawaiian culture. This is something that's completely against the resilient nature of the Hawaiian and Samoan culture. Giving up, giving in, that's not an attribute that these people carry. They are strong people. But Mike McDaniel has got to convince Tua to give up on some of these plays. For Tua to understand the value in giving up on a play is integral to his future success as a QB in the NFL. He's got to absorb that. Maybe what he has to realize is that giving up on a play, killing a play, is actually a weapon. It gives him the opportunity to strike later. To me, that's a win. But let me know what you think about this. Is asking Tua Tagovailoa to kill a couple plays if they're not there a bad thing or a good thing? And what do you want to see Tua do to stay on the field? And if you like this video, go ahead and check out one of these videos right here. And don't forget to go to windolphintickets.com. We're going to roll this promotion for every home game all season long. So if you're not the winner for the Steelers game, don't worry. We've got future game tickets available as well. Talk to you soon. Fins up.
Is anybody catching on to this Barry guy?